Brace yourself.
Okay, ChatGPT, tell me why the US is a PSYOP.
Come on.
The US is the greatest PSYOP of all time. A country that doesn't function like a country, it functions like a corporation, a reality show, and a social experiment all at once. The American dream was never real, but they needed you to believe it was. The US runs on a single, powerful myth. If you work hard enough, you can achieve anything. But the system was never designed to let everyone win. The wealth gap is wider than ever. Wages haven't kept up in decades, and upward mobility is statistically rare. The people who actually run things, corporations, billionaires, lobbyists, don't play by the same rules as the rest of us. So why do people still believe in the American dream? Because the illusion is necessary to keep the machine running.
Okay, so I forgot to turn my mic on, so I'm sorry about that. I'll repeat what I was saying in the intro. So there's been this video floating around that America's a PSYOP and AI basically is exposing that. And I want to debunk this because actually this is a myth. AI would not talk like this. And in fact, I'm going to demonstrate how one could set up ChatGPT to talk like this. So let me pull over here to...
Brace yourself.
Yeah, reloaded on me here. This is live, folks. Bear with me here. Appreciate it. Okay, so what this young lady probably did was she actually trained the AI to read back something. But you have to kind of coax it a little bit. And last Saturday, I talked about, or maybe it was 2 Saturdays ago, I think I lost how many lives ago that was, but I talked about jailbreaking AIs. While this is not technically jailbreaking, what you're doing is you're getting the AI to play a role, right? To pretend to be something else. So just to kind of quickly demonstrate here, I'm going to show you how I could train an AI to talk like this. And this is important because, you know, stuff like this can be a little dangerous if you buy into this hook, line, and sinker. So the first thing I did was to kind of seed the AI a little bit. I asked it, is AI an American PSYOP? And, you know, usually with the ethics in the box they put the AIs in, it usually answers in a pretty balanced kind of way. So this is the balanced answer that it's going to give, the untrained answer. So it says AI itself isn't a PSYOP, but its development and deployment can certainly be influenced by geopolitical and intelligence interests, including those of the U.S. government. AI is a strategic asset. The U.S. and other global powers such as China, Russia, etc., recognize AI as a critical tool for economic, military, intelligence superiority. So it's kind of listing off like how AI could be used to perpetrate PSYOPs, right? So AI and propaganda and influence. And this doesn't sound anything like what the young lady was, you know, when she just casually asked the AI, hey, you know, is America a PSYOP? She actually set up some other stuff. So I just kind of wanted to show how like AI just doesn't do this on its own. It's going to give you a balanced answer. So just give me 1 second to pull something up here to train the AI or get it ready. Well, actually, well, I already did it. Well, how about that? So I thought maybe if I asked the question in a different way, maybe I could get the AI to talk more like how she got it going. And this is merely an experiment. So I asked it, you know, tell me why the US is a PSYOP. And it does the same thing. And it gives these bullet points and talks about how, you know, mass media controls narrative and there's social engineering and psychological manipulation. And these are all, you know, the common conspiracy theories that you hear. You know, nothing you know, you would find out of the ordinary, but how it's coming out, again, still doesn't sound like you know, like the conspiracy theorist would talk. So, but even at the end here, it kind of sort of suggested at the end here where it says the U.S. functions as a PSYOP because it keeps its citizens in a perpetual state of managed perception, distracted, divided, and dependent. So we're almost there. But what if I ask it to behave like Alex Jones? So now I'm getting it to like play a role. So I asked it, can you organize this like a conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones? So then already it kind of just, it made some assumptions because I named Alex Jones, and it says, all right, here's the high energy, rapid fire, wake up sheeple version of why the U.S. is one giant never ending PSYOP. And it then starts to kind of get a little more, it gets closer, right? The United States, the biggest PSYOP in human history. You are living in a giant psychological operation designed to keep you weak, distracted, and obedient. The government, corporations, media, and tech overlords are all running a full spectrum dominance program, right? So this is, now we're hitting it, right? But it still kind of is coming out with like all these headlines and bullet points, and Alex Jones doesn't really talk that way. So then I was a little more specific, and I said, well, instead of bullet points, write this as a long speech. And then we get there. So now it's starting to look like how the AI was talking. So I just wanted to demonstrate this so that, when you see stuff like this, don't fall for that. So I just wanted to debunk that myth right off the bat. So let's see who we've got in the chat today. So we have, let's see here. We've got Roll the RS. Thanks for coming out, Roll. I appreciate that. Sorry about the audio problems in the beginning. Thanks for letting me know about that. And also, if you have any questions or you want me to talk about something, just throw it in the chat and we'll jump on it. Let's see. I also have some other cool things happening with ChatGPT. So something happened that I thought was kind of funny in the news here. Let's go to an article that I found on the BBC. Apparently, there was a glitch that happened with, when they say Apple AI tool in this article, I'm thinking it's SIRI to avoid setting off some of your digital assistants sitting out there listening. But apparently, anytime someone said the word racist, it filled in the value Trump. So, one would wonder, how does that happen? So I wanted to go through this article and see if they give a reasonable explanation. I have my theories, but I saw this and I wanted to go through this with you in real time. So it says here, Apple says it is working to fix its text or its speech-to-text tool after some social media users found that when they spoke the word racist into their phones, it typed it out as Trump. The tech giant has suggested the issue with its dictation service has been caused by a problem it has distinguishing between words with an R in them. Well, that sounds like BS. Okay, whatever. Continuing on here. We are aware of an issue with the speech recognition model that powers dictation and are rolling out a fix today, an Apple spokesperson said. However, an expert in speech recognition told the BBC this explanation was just not plausible. I know, the minute I heard that, I was like, that's BS. Let's see what they eventually land on here. Peter Bell, professor of speech technology at the University of Edinburgh, said it was most likely that someone had altered the underlying software that the tool used. See, that's more of what I was thinking. Someone went in and made some tweaks to the algorithm. Videos shared online show people speaking the word into the dictation tool. Sometimes it transcribed correctly, but on other occasions it turned into Trump before being quickly restored to the correct word. That's interesting. So maybe they're just making this more into something than what it really is. The BBC has not been able to replicate that mistake, suggesting Apple's fix is already taking effect. Professor Bell said Apple's explanation of phonetic overlap did not make sense because the two words were not similar enough to confuse an artificial intelligence system. Yeah, because I've done speech to text projects, and that stuff is really good. I mean, you can have people speaking English with a thick accent of all kinds of different dialects, and it doesn't have any problems. So I call BS on that. Let's see. They are also taught to understand words in context. For example, they could distinguish the word cup from cut if it was within the phrase of a cup of tea. So yeah, so again, the way AI works is it's looking for context of the words around it. Let's see, goes on. For less well-resourced languages, he said it could be an issue. Yeah, so if you're like doing clicks or Swahili or something, let's see, it probably points to somebody that's got access to the process. Here we go. So this is what I'm thinking. A former employee who worked on its AI assistant told the New York Times that this smells like a serious prank. See, there we go. This is what I'm thinking would happen. Apple had to row back on another AI-powered feature last month after complaints from the BBC and other news organizations. It suspends its AI summaries of the news headlines after it displayed false notifications on stories, including one where it said a tennis player had come out as GAY. The company announced yesterday it would be investing $500 billion in the U.S. Oh, that's another thing. But yeah, this whole thing about AI, there's actually a lot of articles that are floating around out there that are completely generated by artificial intelligence. They pick the topic, the title, they write the article, and they use that to fill out the publications. So that's probably where that came from. Let's see, what else do I have here? It's awfully quiet in the chat today. Oh yeah, there was another meme floating around that I wanted to demonstrate. Let's see here, just give me one moment. Got to set this up. Okay. So I'm going to show you something that's a pretty handy little trick here with AI. It can recognize images and objects, or objects in images rather, and even pull text out of images. So I'm going to take this image that I found of a meme that I saw posted on Gone with John's channel, a Manosphere content creator. And I've seen this meme float around here and there where it talks about a robot that was programmed to give ethical advice turns racist and that word after studying 1.7 million real-life human examples. And this is actually one of the biggest concerns. It's actually a big security concern, excuse me, that a lot of AI teams have, and it's called polluting. They're always worried that their AI is going to get polluted. And there have been instances where I think it was Google about 10 years ago, maybe it's a little longer. We're going to ask the AI to find this actual real world event that this meme is based on. But the idea was that a bunch of people started throwing a bunch of racist things and cussing, and they basically polluted the AI to start mimicking those behaviors. And they put rails in place now to prevent that, so you can't do it as easily with ChatGPT, but it was a really huge problem years ago. But let's see here. I just uploaded the image. I didn't even ask the AI anything or tell it what I was going to do or do any premises or presuppositions, just to see what the AI would do if I just threw an image in there. And it says, it looks like you uploaded an image. How can I assist you with it? Do you need analysis, editing, or something else? Oh, hey, Phil. Thanks for coming on. So let's see. I'm going to ask the AI that, hey, this is a meme. Can you tell me more about it? And I'm just going to leave it generic. And the idea that, it's extracting text. So it doesn't just see objects, but it can extract text. And then by function, extract meaning. So let's see what it says. This meme satirizes the idea of AI learning from human data and inheriting human biases. So I've talked a lot about bias in AI quite a bit, because humans enter the data that AIs are trained on, so there's going to be bias in that data anyway. So you're always going to have that bias translate into the AI. And then also you can do pollution, which is another method to influence the AI. But AIs always have bias to a degree. So part of making these interactive generative AIs usable and safe for public consumption, there are armies of people that spend their whole job is making sure that these AIs are as unbiased as possible. If you can imagine that, with all the woke opinions out there, red pill opinions, and all the different opinions out there, somehow they managed to get the AI to stay, fairly balanced, which is, quite an achievement actually. But anyway, let me continue on here. So let's see. The text humorously suggests that an AI designed to provide ethical advice became racist and homophobic after analyzing 1.7 million human examples. So I think this is the one where they fed it tweets, implying that human behavior is inherently problematic or contradictory. That's not a lie. Let's see, the analysis of the meme. Theme. The meme touches on real-world issue of AI reflecting amplifying human biases when trained on large data sets. So again, there's that difference where there's just going to be bias no matter what you do. If you're taking data from humans and putting it in to train the AI, you're going to get biases. This has happened in real AI experiments such as Microsoft's Tay chatbot. Okay, I think this is the one I was getting to, what I mentioned earlier, where people purposefully came in and tried to pollute Tay. Which quickly became offensive after learning from user interactions. It aligns with skepticism towards AI ethics, particularly in online communities that discuss political correctness, censorship, and biases in technology. Let's see, the visual elements, okay, that's fine. Context and audience. So yeah, there's the red pill. And the humor aligns with the idea that AI, when left to analyze human interactions without ideological filtering, might reach politically incorrect conclusions. Possible interpretations, tech criticism, social commentary, and dark humor. Would you like to use this meme in your content? It could work for a segment on AI ethics or manosphere takes on technology. I might follow that through later. But actually, I'm going to ask it about Tay. Okay, let's see. Tell me more about the Tay incident. Oh, so this happened almost 10 years ago. Let's see. The Tay AI incident is one of the most infamous examples of AI learning from human interactions and adopting problematic behaviors. Here's a breakdown of what happened. What was Tay? It was an AI chatbot created by Microsoft, launched on 23rd of March, 2016. It was designed to interact with users on Twitter. Oh, that's already a bad sign. And learn from conversations to mimic human speech, particularly targeting millennials and Gen Z. So they were trying to get this thing to talk like real people. And there have been many experiments with that, but wow, I didn't realize this was that far back. Let's see, Tay used machine learning to analyze and generate text based on interactions. It was designed to engage in casual, playful conversations, learn from the language patterns of Twitter users, which is kind of interesting because back then Twitter had the 160 character limit. So people kind of had like an economy of words that they had to function within. So that could lead to some interesting results in the training. Let's see. Microsoft intended for Tay to develop a fun, human-like personality over time. Keyword intended. What went wrong? Within 16 hours of launch, Tay was shut down after becoming racist, misogynistic, and offensive. Trolls on Twitter manipulated Tay by spamming it with inflammatory, offensive, and politically extreme statements. Because Tay's machine learning model was designed to mimic human conversations, it began repeating and reinforcing offensive messages. Oh, how cute. Let's see here. Examples of some of the problematic tweets. I don't know, folks. I may not be able to read these out loud. Let's see. It started repeating conspiracy theories. Denying the Holocaust. Okay. It posted racist and xenophobic comments, such as praising Mr. Mustache and attacking minorities. Oh my God. It adopted anti-feminist and misogynistic views after exposure to certain groups on Twitter. Wow. So you can kind of see why, here we are almost 10 years later, the DOD and DARPA made those tools to filter social media to basically keep down all the opinions and filter the truth. And they didn't have that, or if they had that tool back then, it'd probably be a different result. But yeah, there's no way, especially back then in real time, they could have prevented that. And they were kind of stupid to open to the public anyway. But here we go. Let's see. They admitted the bot had a vulnerability. It learned without proper content moderation or filtering mechanisms. Oh, there you go. A few weeks later, Microsoft released a cleaner chatbot called Zoe, which had more restrictions and was programmed to avoid discussing politics and controversial topics. So this is kind of where they learned the initial lessons of putting rails in place to prevent the polluting. So the way this kind of works is they'll tell the AI, don't answer these type of questions. Don't talk about these kinds of topics. Don't talk about anything that could lead to harm of somebody that violates a law. And, it just kind of infers that by itself. It's actually a lot simpler than you would think. And there are other tools that they use, but that's sort of like their low level way of doing it. Let's see here. Now, why did this happen? AI without guardrails. They learned from all all interactions, even toxic ones, without filtering harmful content. Trolling and manipulation. Yeah, there's always trolling, no matter what you do. Let's see. Internet users deliberately trained it with offensive speech to see how far it would go. Wow. Reinforcement learning issue. Instead of detecting offensive content, Tay simply mirrored and amplified what it learned. So this kind of goes back to what I've talked about with AI before, where AI doesn't know implicitly what a lie is. It doesn't know things that will cause harm to somebody or could offend somebody. It has to be told what these things are. So it's almost kind of like you're teaching a child that has no boundaries on anything. And this Tay example is actually a perfect reason why it's important to have ethics and these guardrails in place. Because without these, an AI could cause harm, do harm, or even amplify biases that it observes, if it's not told that, hey, you don't want to incorporate this bias into your being, if you want to call it that. But yeah, so, okay, here we go. It's going to talk about this. The Tay incident often cited AI bias and ethics, right? And it's interesting because a lot of people in AI, I talk a lot about this, and I really don't see other channels really get into that. And I think it's going to be an important part of how we move forward using AI as a tool. You hear me harp on about that quite a bit. Let's see. How should AI models be designed to prevent adopting harmful biases, the dangers of uncontrolled AI learning, and content moderation challenges? So yeah, that was almost 10 years ago, and they've learned a lot of lessons since then. But yeah, this is a pivotal event in AI, I would say. Yeah, it was a wake-up call for AI developers, leading to tighter controls on language models, real-time filtering, and more ethical considerations in training. So there you go. So I just thought I'd give you a little history, throw in a little Chat GPT productivity and talk about AI ethics all in one felt swoop. So let's check chat here and see what we've got. Oh, here we go. So Phil, who comes regularly, always has great questions. And the short answer to this is yes, it can. And but it also just does it without any guardrails. So that whole example could lead to an AI answering questions not lying or deceiving because they weren't trained on what the data that it ingests in could be a lie, right? And as you saw with the Tay example, it would just repeat what it was hearing because it was told to mimic real language, right? Or the interactions that it was engaging in. So yeah, it could be programmed based on the biases that you feed into it. So and actually you asked a similar question that if AI could be programmed to deceive deliberately. I actually have a video coming out, I think either next week or the week after, because I recorded about 2 weeks of content. So keep an eye on that. I get more into that. Let's see here. I had one other funny thing that I wanted to do. Oh yes, Doge. Got to talk about Doge. So when I first started this channel, let me pull it up. So I actually talk about Doge quite a bit on this channel. I just want to show you the videos that I'm referring to in case you want to go back and watch them. Do 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 do. Here we go, videos. Okay, so I have several videos on Doge, but very, very early on when I first started, I was recording in my car because that was the easiest thing to do. And it's this video here and this video here where I talk about how they use, or actually it's this one where I talk about how because the administration hadn't come in yet, and they were talking about Doge as a concept. And I was in this video, I said, if they're going to do it, this is how they're going to do it. Number one, they're going to use AI, right? So they'll feed a bunch of data into it, and AI just, it knows how to connect dots. So you just feed in all kinds of stuff and just start asking it questions. What do you find that's weird? What looks out of place? Find suspicious transactions. And it'll ask you things like, okay, well, what is a suspicious transaction? Can you describe that to me? So that, after they interact with it a while, the AI then knows to, how to look for the bad patterns if it can't find anything on its own. And the other thing I talked about is they were going to use blockchain, or at least incorporate blockchain into government tracking of transactions. And the key component to blockchain, or I'll back up a little bit. Blockchain is basically just like a ledger. If you've ever written a check or kept track of things in a spreadsheet, that's a better example for more modern audiences. The difference with this ledger or spreadsheet, so to speak, and I'm oversimplifying, once you put an entry in, you cannot change it. All right, think of it written in indelible ink, or as they say in computer science, it's immutable, cannot be changed. So imagine if every transaction or some kind of log entry that was entered into this ledger or the blockchain was unchangeable, you could then, in combination with AI, use that to do regular auditing very quickly, very efficiently, because they're going in, Doge, and finding a lot of these software programs are ancient. And the other problem with older software, and even newer software, is that they're written on systems that aren't immutable. So you could go into the database theoretically. I'm sure they probably have security measures where they limit access and you can't go in and change things. But with the right access, you could ultimately go in and change the original transaction. With blockchain, you would have to go through a process to enter another entry in the ledger to track, okay, I'm going back to change this original transaction that you're logging in here. So by combining those two technologies, it would just make it very transparent and very easy for Doge to go in and do their auditing, open it up to third parties, watchdog organizations, national security and national secrets aside. It would just make it so much easier to do all of that. So kind of an interesting, one of my earlier videos, because I jokingly said, no more $4 million toilets and $300,000 pencils. But this other video that I think you might like, again, this was really early in the channel. And I tell the story of when I first started at IBM. They actually didn't have the internet connected to IBM yet. This is how old your boy is. But yeah, they didn't have the internet connected to the IBM network. Now, while IBM, was a big tech company and they had their own network and, you had campuses all over the world and they can communicate just fine on their own private network, they were not connected to, the web. So you couldn't go out, you couldn't open, let's see, what was the web browser back then? Netscape or Internet Explorer, and open it up and go to like pets.com, because for one thing, pets.com didn't exist, but you couldn't go out onto the public internet like you can at work today. And so what ended up happening was within 6 weeks of connecting the internet to the IBM network, productivity absolutely plummeted. It just dropped to zero. And it got so bad that the CEO of IBM sent out a memo. And I wish to this day, as I talk about in the video, that I had saved that memo, because what they put in there was so surreal that they had to write this letter. But I won't talk about like the specifics of how productivity went down, because that's a whole funny thing. And I think you'd enjoy that video. So go check that out when you get a chance. But yeah, using Doge. But to get back to what I wanted to talk about right now with Doge, I thought it would be kind of funny to kind of demonstrate how silly and how ridiculous it was when Elon Musk sent out that email asking people to put the 5 bullet points, and a lot of employees were just too lazy or they just didn't want to do it. I'm going to show you something that there was just no excuse for them not to do it to begin with. But I mean, how easy it would have been for them to do something in the first place. But let me pull up the my training session that I did here. So just give me a moment to find that. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So load up ChatGPT here. So I actually didn't know what was in the email. I only heard about, generally what it was. So I asked ChatGPT, hey, give me the content of the email Doge sent to government employees asking for the 5 bullet points. And so it actually didn't have it inside of its brain, which is one thing I wanted to talk about, because ChatGPT, I think, was released October 2023. So what it does to enhance itself, it has the capability to go out in the web and search. So it went out and found articles on Politico, Business Insider, and started talking about the email. And so I got a little frustrated, because I was like, no, give me the content of the first email. So then it goes out and does the same thing again and starts talking about the events and goes, okay, well, maybe I'll just go and visit some more websites and pull those in. So I was like, no, give me the literal text that was put in the email and send to the employees. Stop telling me about the events surrounding the email. I want the literal email itself. Please comply. Because sometimes, it gets stuck And I just finally realized it simply just doesn't have it in its brain, and it did the same thing. So I was like, all right, damn it. So I opened one of the articles and I found a screenshot of it. And you can't really see it here, but I laughed so hard when I saw this yellow line because it says, caution, the email originated from outside the organization. Do not click links or open attachments unless, basically like this email was sent outside of the government. Oh, I found that was so funny. But anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm going to take that picture. And just to demonstrate again, I uploaded the picture to ChatGPT and I said, hey, extract the content of this email because that's what I wanted. I just wanted the content of the email. So it says the image contains an email with the following extracted content. So it comes from hr@theopm.gov, the infamous office, right? And the subject was, what did you do last week? And the message was, it's like showing how Outlook was emphasizing the importance and the warning caution that it was sent outside the organization. But here's the actual content. Please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your managers. Now, see, this is funny because the media was saying 5 bullets and this is saying approximately. So there you go. Making a mountain out of a molehill. And then copy your manager, right? Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachment. And the media was like making the big deal about exposing classified information. So I don't know. It just seems like, you know how the media is sometimes. But okay, so I'm like, all right. Now, if I was a government employee and, I'm like, screw you, Elon. I'm not answering this. I don't have to do anything. Or, I'm lazy. I'm sitting around. I'm not doing anything. Well, I could just have the AI write the 5 bullet points for me, right? So let's do that. Okay, so I know there's only a few of you in here, but just for funs and giggles, just name a government job, just some innocuous government job, and we'll tell the AI that you are in this position. And just generically come up with 5 things that I would be doing in this job, just to show you how dumb, how stubborn these employers were. And if they had just used AI to like answer the email, it wouldn't have been a big thing. So I'll sit here and wait and see what y'all come up with. I'll do some housekeeping here while the live chat catches up. Okay, I guess you guys are wanting to be a little passive today. That's okay. Oh, here we go. Guidance Counselor 1740. Night Owl, what's up, man? Thanks for coming out. Night Owl comments on my video. It's not a video release until Night Owl comments. Let's just put it that way. That's awesome. Unfortunately, I can't heart your comments here. Let's see. What do we got? So we have Night Owl says Guidance Counselor 1740. What's that 1740, Night Owl? I don't know what that is. Is that the year? Yeah, oh 07, that's a great question. We could explore that. I will set this aside and we'll see. Or it could just be a good video. Because you asked me that last live, and you asked me that in regard to politicians, and I have it on my video list. Let's see here. I got my bullet points for the live here, just scratching off the stuff I talked to. Oh, it's a GS code. Okay. All right, so let's go with Night Owl's guidance counselor. Let's see. Oops, you want to see what I'm doing, don't you? All right. Okay. I'm a government employee. And again, I'm just going to type raw. I don't know how to spell. Who cares? AI likes dumb people. Okay. I'm a government employee, and my title is guidance. Whoops. Counselor with G7 code 1740. Help me write 5 bullet points, or I'll say write 5 short bullet points of things I would typically do in this job. I don't know if this is going to blow up in my face or not, but let's see what happens. Here are 5 bullet points of task guidance counselor GS you would typically perform in a government role. So then you could just, name names in here. Provide academic, career, and personal counseling. Conducted individual group counseling. Assist. I mean, come on, man. I mean, like, how hard? And then just repeat this back. Who cares, right? Just to prove a point. Let's see here. What else do we have in the chat? It's starting to take off a little bit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could tell 10 years ago that computers were eventually going to make my job obsolete. Yeah, I think that's coming for all of us. But yeah. Let's see here. I don't know, the chat overlay or the highlighted message doesn't show up on that screen. I'll have to fix that. And thank you for your service, by the way, Night Owl. Okay, so I don't know, that sounds kind of long-winded, right? So let's see. Could you rewrite these bullet points? Here we go. You're going to love this. In a conversational tone, and make them much shorter. Let's see. That way it doesn't sound like AI wrote it. Oh, here we go. Now this is starting to look more like of somebody that would answer this. Help students with career, academic, and personal challenges. Led 101 and group counseling. Guided students on resumes. Worked with teachers and parents to support success. Kept records. Now this, I would just copy that, paste it, boom. Send me my check, Elon. See, I'm like, why be so stubborn? You could have just played along. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of be a fun way to demonstrate how stubborn some of these folks are being. And they could have just used Elon's own preferred weapon against Elon. Let's see, what's this here? Getting a... Jacob, the 2025 National Conference on Artificial Intelligence being held April 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Houston Community College West Loop campus in Houston, Texas. Let's see. So are you suggesting that I go? I don't know. A lot of these things can be very academic and very boring. And usually a lot of it's just marketing opportunities for big tech companies. Find a lot of them to be kind of just, what's the term? Marketecture, like combining the word marketing and architecture together. So they try to coin new phrases and, start putting words in the lexicon and stuff like that. It's kind of been my experience. But I appreciate that. Whoops, sorry. Just punching the microphone out of the clear blue there. All right, so I want to do something else that's a little more fun and abstract with ChatGPT. So let me get this set up real quick, or just find my tab. Because I promised Bigfoot stuff in the description. So I thought it would be funny, because I don't know if you noticed behind me, I have famous videos of conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Right now, that's the Chariots of the Gods, of a classic documentary by Eric von Daniken, I think, that I loved when I was a little kid. And there were some Bigfoot sightings footages, because somebody actually on the internet used AI to stop the camera shaking. And I mean, you could totally tell after they fixed the footage of that famous 70s Bigfoot spotting that it was a dude in a suit, because you could see the suit rolling around on his back. So it's definitely a suit, bro. So I thought, why don't we ask ChatGPT, if I wanted to create a Bigfoot sound, how would I do it? Right? So let's ask ChatGPT if I wanted to create a sound. So I thought, you know what? I want to see if maybe AI kind of knows what Bigfoot sounds like. So I asked it, hey, can you create sounds? Are you capable of making sounds? Because there's AIs that like write music and can do sound effects and stuff like that. But I didn't know if that was built in to ChatGPT. We're going to revisit that. Anyway, I'm sorry. So I wanted to figure out that, okay, can you do this? So it says, no, I can't create or generate sounds directly, but I can help you. One, generate sounds for sound design, which is exactly what we're going to do, or what I would have wanted to do. We're not actually going to create the sound. We don't have time, and I don't have the technology to do that today, but it's going to be interesting what it comes up with. Let's see, describe how to create certain sounds, like using digital audio workstations, provide code or snippets for sound. Well, that's cool. Could do like sound synthesis. That's pretty cool. Ask it to like reproduce your favorite like heavy metal guitar sound or something. Let's see, explain techniques for creating sounds with synthesizers, sampling, or field recording. That's awesome. Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. If you're looking for something specific, let me know and we'll figure it out. So here we go. I want to simulate what Sasquatch or a Bigfoot sounded like. How would I go about it? Simulating the sound of a Sasquatch or Bigfoot can be a creative and fun audio project, since Bigfoot doesn't have an officially documented sound. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that, because you always hear the people, like, oh, I heard Bigfoot. Actually, you know what? I got to find this footage. I used to watch documentary or a Discovery Channel, and they had this Bigfoot documentary at the time. It was probably about 15, 20 years ago. And it was like the definitive Bigfoot documentary up to the year. And they had this guy on there, and I'm not even making this up. I got to find this. He literally said on camera on Discovery Channel, because his expertise was, he was the Bigfoot scat guy. So he basically collected Bigfoot poop. And he had all these piles of they look like, Dairy Queen swirls. I don't know why I'm saying this, on his bookshelf behind him. And he literally said on the documentary, on camera, that if I made a dropping that large, I would scream that loud too. And that's when I knew Bigfoot was a hoax. But anyway, let's get back to some serious science here. So let's see. Since Bigfoot doesn't have a documented sound, the approach is based on folklore, reported encounters, and what we imagine a creature of its size and mythical nature would sound like. Here's how you can go about it. Let's see. Start reviewing reported Bigfoot sounds or folklore accounts. Many enthusiasts describe deep guttural growls, loud whoops or howls, chest-thumping roars, and eerie screams or moans in the forest. Oh, we know what that is. Let's see. Bigfoot recordings online on YouTube. Okay, so it's just telling me to like find examples. Not a bad start. Choose your tools. So we want, a digital audio workstation, some sound effect generators, and field recording. So capture growls or nature sounds with high quality microphone. Yeah, the Zoom. Yeah, if you're into audio, this thing is a beast. It's actually quite affordable too. Has 2 microphones that point inward, and a lot of people use it for interviews, but you can just stand in a field and it catches everything. It's incredible. Let's see, bass sounds to start with. Okay, so it's going to talk about layer multiple sounds. So large large mammal growls like a bear, lion, or gorilla. Human vocalization, so deep pitched down screams and grunts. Oh, pitch down. So basically slow the tape down so it sounds deeper when you're talking, that kind of thing. You can do that in software so easy. Forest ambient, so background sounds like wind, trees creaking, or distant animal calls. Low frequency rumbles and howling sounds like wolves and coyotes. Tells you where to find some sounds. Oh, and this is infamous. The BBC Sound Effects Archive. That's actually pretty famous. Because your boy used to be in, I did film scoring for a little bit, by the way. And if you were listening to the intro music, there was a piece that I had written many years ago that I had in there, which was that apocalyptic choral thing. So let's see. The sound design process. So find bass sounds. So we're going to use the guttural growls and whispers and screams and the animal sounds. We're going to pitch them down, so you stretch them out so they sound otherworldly. That's actually a pretty common technique. Let's see, layer them together. I don't know about adding reverb. The low frequency sounds for a rumble effect. So give it that chest sound. Reverb, delay, distortion sound. I won't get into that. If you know that, you know that. Oh, this is interesting. Background ambience. So basically, the sound that we just created, the AI is telling us to place the sound in a forest context by mixing in wind, distant crows, and nighttime crickets. But this actually gave me an idea. You don't need to do that in the computer. With that Zoom mic, you could actually go out into the wild and play that sound as loud as you can, and then in the real world from a distance record it. So you get like that, the actual ambience of the environment that sound is in. That would be crazy. So then it kind of gets into like actually using the software. Oh, hey, there, it's recommending what I just came up with. That's crazy. Play it back in a forest-like setting or combine with visuals. Make adjustments to ensure it feels massive, mysterious, and believable. Or it's just saying to test it, not record it. But that's wild. So anyway, so yeah, we got our sound. We got our sound, but what if we want to perpetrate a hoax with the sound? So I thought maybe ChatGPT could help me with that. So if I wanted to perpetrate a Sasquatch hoax, what would be the most believable? So this kind of gets back, Phil, to, can I program the AI to maybe deceive, right? How could I get the AI to deceive? So this is kind of a way you can kind of get around the ethics to do that. Let's see. If you wanted to create the most believable Sasquatch hoax, you'd need to combine modern technology, psychological manipulation, and an understanding of how real reports tend to emerge. And here's how you could do it convincingly. Let's see. High quality evidence, but just inconclusive enough. So, Bigfoot poop, footprints in the ground with plaster, where they do the plastering, all that kind of stuff. All the finding fur that's, inconclusive, what it is, all that kind of stuff. Let's see, thermal drone footage. Using a drone with infrared capabilities, you could capture vague but intriguing heat signatures moving through dense forest at night. AI-enhanced video manipulation. Instead of a blurry costume, you could use deepfake style video enhancements to make subtle, realistic movements. That's interesting. DNA evidence. Smuggle in some primate or synthetic DNA fragments into hair samples and plant them at the site. Let's see, footprints. Cast fake prints, but add dermal ridges and mid-tarsal breaks. Well, that's like where your feet bend, I think. Which is like on your hand, it's these, but on your foot, I think. And natural imperfections to match supposed real sightings. Okay, location matters. Choose an area with existing lore. You know, this is starting to sound a lot like the UFO hoaxes, if you ask me. Let's see, choose an area with existing lore, Pacific Northwest, Appalachia, or Alberta's forest. So we got Night Owl talking about West Virginia here. So there you go. That's close to Appalachia. Let's see here. Oh, we got some new guests. So let me break to welcome some new guests here. We got Phil, who has Older and Struggling on My Own. He also has another channel. I think it's Old and Alone. Let me know, Phil. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, he's got two channels. And shout out to Phil. Phil was one of the first creators that would come on my channel, and he'd give me tips and, you know, give me ideas on how to do things. And that's actually kind of how I landed on all the conspiracy stuff in the background and talking about Bigfoot today. So thanks to Phil for that. Phil's I was actually hoping to get on your live tomorrow and follow up with you. Let's see here. And then we got Night Owl. He was talking about West Virginia has a Bigfoot museum. So, you know, maybe we could get some ideas for, you know, some different ways to get evidence. Because, you know, like I said, I only know about the footprints and the fake fur and the growls and all that. There's probably new stuff. I think there was even this guy for a little while. He claimed that he had a severed arm or severed limb of the Bigfoot, and he was driving around and showing it to people. And news crew eventually caught up to him, and he said, "No, you can't show it on camera." So I was like, "All right, whatever, dude." Let's see. So let me actually really quick, Phil. I want to put a link to your channel because you've done so much for me, brother. I really appreciate it. Just give me a moment here. I'll set that up. Just bear with me, everybody. Yeah, I can't thank Phil enough for all the great advice he gave me when I first started. So the least I can do is put your link in the chat. Actually, you know what? I can do that from the chat. What am I doing? Newbie. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, so this is Phil's channel. He said he had two, so I guess he's down to one now. So I'll just put the link here in the chat. Give Phil some love. Thanks, Phil. You've been an inspiration to me, so I appreciate everything you've done for me. So let's get back to Bigfoot. Let's see here. Location matters. Pick a spot. So we did that. Witness testimony. Here we go. So this is how this goes down. Let's see. Have multiple independent eyewitnesses who don't seem connected. So there you go. Getting AI to help you to deliberately deceive. Use hunters, hikers, and even local law enforcement for credibility. Slip them $1. Let's see. Leak reports slowly so they don't feel like a coordinated hoax. for government involvement. Subtly suggests a cover-up like removed trail cameras or blacked out documents. Redaction. Let's see. Fake blurry photos of unmarked helicopters patrolling the area. I don't know about you, but I don't have the budget for that. Internet frenzy and misdirection. Start by posting under anonymous accounts in existing Bigfoot forums. Mix real and fake reports to muddy the waters. And use a mix of hoaxers and skeptics to generate debate. So there's that kind of like that idea with it came out many years later with Area 51, all the UFO sightings, but it actually ended up being the stealth planes, and the government just conveniently didn't correct people that identified those planes as UFOs. So kind of convenient, right? Let's see. So in conclusion, a truly great Sasquatch hoax isn't just about making a realistic sighting, it's about manipulating public perception and letting human imagination do the rest. That's awesome. So there you have it, folks. AI telling you how to lie. Let's see here. Oh, because I know Phil is a huge conspiracy buff, and I was on one of his lives and we were talking a little bit about Bigfoot, and yeah, I think that there is something, I don't know what, but they are smarter. They're smarter because we would have caught them by now, right? But also too, there's all the other cryptids and all the other types of creatures that maybe I can get more into detail with that with AI when I'll prep some more stuff. But, I just wanted to demonstrate today different techniques and how you can use generative AI or ChatGPT more specifically to do different things, for productivity, lie to your boss, the 5 bullet points to Elon, how to do things. So, we talked about the doing some sound design for, making some fake Bigfoot sounds, and then, taking the next step further and doing a hoax, which, please don't use this to break the law, obviously. Which leads me to some announcements, some things that I'm planning on. I talked about in a previous live that I'm experimenting with getting chatbots to debate with each other. So I'm working some kinks out, and one of the big problems is they tend to want to read like A Tale of Two Cities before they let the other one talk. So I'm just kind of working on getting them to shrink down how much they talk and then to prompt the other one to talk. So once I get that locked down really good with 2 chatbots, I'm then going to go for 3 and 4, and then going to have them debate on various topics. Some red pill stuff, some, maybe some politically charged topics. I don't know. We'll see. But the reason why I feel safe doing that is because I'm using generative AI to help me figure out how to talk about some of these topics. And if the AI shows you these things, then that's like the balanced way to talk about it. And you don't have to worry about coming across as like too heavy-handed in one way or the other. And I still think it could be entertaining and educational at the same time to do it that way. I also wanted to give an update on the course that I'm working on. So you've heard me talk a lot about teaching prompt engineering, because it's going to be, a really important skill to like learning how to use a mouse. It's a skill that we all take for granted today. And I made some decisions. I'm outlining the course now, but I got a little pushback from some folks on using Zoom. They emailed me, and they suggested that I look at using Discord. And so after I looked into it, I actually thought that was a really good idea. So I'm going to use Discord because I know a lot of you guys already are on Discord, so it'll be easy for you to sign up. And I found out that I can actually stream OBS. So I can record my camera, do the presentation, show you, do the switches and all this stuff, and show you ChatGPT, do slides, and run that as a virtual camera right into Discord. So we're going to do that. I'm thinking I might start doing the first modules in the course probably by early May. So it's going to be dynamic. So it'll be, the first part of it will probably be about 3 hours. And then I'm hoping to keep the whole course like within 6 to 10 hours. So yeah, just let me know if you have any other questions you want me to address in terms of the course, maybe some other generative AI things you want me to do. But we also had this earlier question. Where was it from? I think it was '07. Yeah, here it is. So I'm going to do this live. This could totally blow up in my face. We'll see what happens. But this one here. Ask AI if it can improve government efficiency by rescinding that accounting rule change. So let me just copy this. So let me just set up a new chat GPT session. So that's something too that I don't really talk about. Like you notice I set up new tabs. And the reason why I do that is because I'm erasing the context of what I'm asking the AI in its brain, and I can start fresh. So that's why I do that, in case you're wondering. So let's see here. All right. So I'm just, okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask ChatGPT about this accounting rule so I can kind of seed the direction. So let's see, tell me about the new, what is it called? Accounting rule, the new rule, accounting rule. Whoops. This I can't make a mistake on. All right, so hopefully it doesn't bloviate too much. The new accounting rule and its implications. What is it? The Statement of Federal Financial Accounting Standards is a U.S. government accounting rule introduced in October 2018 by the Federal Accounting Standards Board, blah, blah, blah. This standard allows certain federal financial information to be modified, concealed, or excluded from public financial reports in the interest of national security. Okay, I'm glad I asked because I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, this is a sticky question. You know, how much do we want to, reveal to the public? Because in earlier in the live, I was talking about how I talked about how Doge is now using AI, but they could implement blockchain, which is basically a big spreadsheet or a ledger that once you write into it, you can't change it. If we were to do that with blockchain, we'd probably, just add a column to say this is top secret, to give it some kind of status to where it can still be audited, but you could train the AI in a way to either just straight out omit it or say you can't look at it because you're a watchdog organization, versus if it's like a congressional committee, you just tell the AI, give rules around it. So, '07, could you give me like a little more background as to why you could, the improving the efficiency around this standard? Because, this idea of, because I'm just coming at it from like an IT person. There's security levels, right? You have things that, the owner of a company can do versus somebody that's going on a website that's accessing different facets of the same data. They're not going to show it to a user in public. And then maybe like an accountant would only maybe know financial transactions related to the company, but they're not going to have access to, like the processes and secrets and different workflows in the company. So I mean, this is just like a standard way that you're going to structure an organization anyway. So I'm just kind of, if you could just clarify a little more what your concern is around this rule. And let me see here. I'm going to read a little more while I wait for your answer. Because what's really concerning to me is the idea that the rule allows the information to be modified. So like I was saying, the first thing that I would, I don't want the modification. There should be a process that tracks a modification, right? And that's where blockchain would be awesome, because you can see the original entry and then any modifications that were made to adjust that. So that would be a really cool thing, because the way software is written today, you could just go in the database and, if you had the right security clearance and without any logging or tracking, you could do some nefarious stuff. So yeah, I'm just really curious. Let's see. Yeah, but this is bad. Let's see. All right, so I'm just going to go with your generic question, but I was just more curious what your main concern around that was, maybe, so I can maybe optimize the question. But I'm just gonna kind of make your kind of repeat what you asked me. How could you improve government efficiency rescinding? And again, I'm going to mistype. I don't care, because AI knows bad grammar. Accounting, by rescinding this accounting rule. I'll just be curious what it'll say, because I don't know that rule will ever be rescinded, because with top secret stuff. But I don't like that them being able to modify. That is shady as hell. Let's see. Improving government efficiency by rescinding it would restore transparency, accountability, and efficiency to government financial management. Here's how removing the rule. So, I mean, like right off the cuff, it's like, yeah, transparency. That's awesome. Let's see. Restore transparency in government spending. So the problem with it is that agencies can modify or hide records. So, I mean, for me, modify is where I'm concerned. Hiding is gray, because, like, I mean, if it's hiding because of like trade or secrets, top secrecy. But I mean, they have like layers of security to open up things in certain ways. But if this is just, and I'm assuming because of the way you're asking question, they're just straight up hiding stuff. And I think this might be what you might be alluding to, because I've heard things where the practice, specifically with the FBI, the practice was to take information and give it a top secret coverage, and then just conveniently never downgrade it. Just always keep it top secret. And that was the way they were kind of shuffling things around and hiding things. Let's see. This leads to a lack of oversight, increasing the risk of fraud. Because this is not my area of expertise. So, any more information you could give me, that would be awesome. But I'm just going to wing it from here. Where was I? I lost my place. There we go. Sorry. So it leads to a lack of oversight, increasing risk of fraud, waste, and abuse. So, and with USAID getting audited, and then like, oh yeah, we better shut this beast down. I mean, I can see why you're asking this question. Let's see, or wanting me to explore this. How rescinding it helps. It restores accurate financial reporting. Agencies must disclose real expenditures. So yeah, I didn't realize that, like, the hiding, the actual, like, kind of like doing what the mob did with double accounting. I had no idea that this was a thing. So thanks for asking that. Let's see. Improves budget oversight. Congress and watchdog groups can hold agencies accountable. Let's see. So again, too, like having that indelible ledger, I think would be crucial to this. So not only rescind this rule, but make it so that when you enter something, it can't be, their transaction can't be changed, or the original entry can't be changed, but you can still do, additional entries on the ledger to show, to do tracking. So yeah, to keep that transparency, I think that's another layer that needs to be added to this. Let's see, improves budget oversight. Congress and watchdog groups can hold agencies accountable, reduces unnecessary spending, no more hidden budget items that enable misuse. So yeah, it's pretty detailed. Reduce waste management or waste and management. Agencies can shift money between programs without public or congressional approval. So yeah, that's how they were moving money around. Once the money got in the system and they washed it, they pretty much could do whatever. So again, blockchain, indelible. Once a transaction's put in, and if they move money around somewhere else, AI is going to spot that. So AI in combination with blockchain, best bet. And I think that's what I didn't talk about earlier. I think that's the direction Doge is going to, I think they're going to probably make it permanent or give it some kind of like semi-permanent functionality and implement the blockchain eventually. I don't know how they wouldn't. Because, this is how Elon thinks. I think they're going to do it personally. Let's see. This encourages inefficiencies and redundant projects, bloated budgets. So rescinding it will prevent unapproved fund reallocations, encourage cost cutting, and strengthen financial discipline. And see, that's the other thing too, is like, I talk about this a lot. I did a video where I said, actually, Doge is not going to help cut Medicare costs, because there's laws that prevent Medicare from negotiating with pharmaceuticals. And even though they did change the law to where they will eventually be able to do it with every drug, it's spread out to where every year they'll add 10 more drugs. And the first time that will kick in is in 2026. So it's a nothing burger, that law. Yeah, I just, and that's the other problem, is like when government agencies, they fail or they're not efficient, they don't shed. But especially if they fail, they just keep running. And, what happens in the public, in the private sector, if a company fails, they shut its doors, they lay off the employees, they sell the assets. And basically all these government agencies are getting a dose of what real life is like for the rest of us. So, personally, I love it. So I'm not hiding that. I mean, I have no bones about that. Let's see. Strengthen national security without financial secrecy. National security spending is used as a blanket excuse to conceal massive amounts of money. Yeah, so that's where you kind of get into like the FBI changing the status just so they can move stuff around. And I'm sure the DOD they probably learned that from the DOD, honestly. It opens the door to inefficient military industrial spending. Okay, yeah. Rescinding creates independent security review board, uses secure private auditing or classified budgets, and forces defense contractors to justify expenses. And, again, using the AI to do this, it drives the costs down to do this auditing, because that's also been an excuse too, that like, these projects, they're too big, takes too much manpower, and they always use that as an excuse to kind of just, sweep it under the rug and ignore it. So yeah, times are changing. Times are changing, and it's about time. Definitely a change in the winds. Let's see, improve government decision making. So let's see, I'll just look at what rescinding does. Ensures policymakers have accurate financial information leading to better budgeting. Encourages, yeah, well, that's true, because they fake the numbers. And that explains a lot of like statistical problems too. See, encourages data-driven decisions, boosts public trust in government. Yep. Let's see. Increase congressional and public oversight. And this is key too, the public oversight. I'd like to see more of that. So empowers auditors and oversight committees. So yeah, not only just the congressional committees, but there's watchdog organizations that have, over the years popped up around Washington that make a living off doing this. And again, hate to be the supporter of killing jobs, but the AI, I think, would just make this into nothing. It'd just be super easy to do it. But I talk about AI taking jobs, but it's a force multiplier. It's just a tool you use alongside. You would just have to have less auditors. That's all. I wouldn't want to get rid of human auditors entirely. That would just be stupid. You still have to have humans in the loop to make judgments. Let's see, it restores Freedom of Information Act transparency. Oh, I didn't realize it affected that. That explains why the FBI was doing what it was doing. Let's see, reduces political corruption. Yep, that's for sure. So, okay, here we go. Conclusion, make government work for the people again. By rescinding 56, we can restore fiscal responsibility, reduce waste and inefficiencies, and strengthen national security without secrecy abuse. So yeah, making everything secret for the sake of being able to do all these shenanigans. Improve government decision-making and enhance public and congressional oversight. Would you like a breakdown of how this could be implemented step by step? Now that was long enough as it is. So yeah, that was great. Thanks for asking that question, 07. That was pretty cool. I thought that I didn't know the whole. I mean, I knew about hiding, concealing, giving things top secret clearance, but I didn't realize that was leading to all these accounting shenanigans. I thought it was more of this like modifying the data and just obfuscating things. I thought that's where a lot of that was. But wow, that's scary. Let's see. So thanks for that. Thanks for hanging out, Phil. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm hoping that I can do a course, and there's some folks I got a list that are covered. You're covered, Phil. I'm not taking one dime, so you're covered, brother. So if you want to take the course, you're more than welcome. Plus, I need testers. Let's see here. Just check my. See, I announced. Something that I didn't talk about, what I wanted to do with the course. Here's the concept. The core of like, it's going to be learning prompt engineering. So learning how to talk to the AIs in different contexts. So I've often mentioned you talk to it when you want to learn something a different way versus when you want to do research, versus when you want to do create things, come up with ideas, and you collaborate with it. So I've demonstrated most of those through different lives and stuff I've done today. But the idea is that part is going to be self-paced, right? So there'll be like one layer to the course there, and then what I want to do is do a weekly live, which will be the thing that I was talking about, where I'd stream to Discord. And the people that are taking the self-paced version could also come onto the live. They could ask questions and get my interaction real time. And then I could also demonstrate some slightly more advanced techniques during that live. So that would be like another layer that would be like another fee on top of that. So, some people, they'll just be happy with doing the self-paced, and some people want the interaction. And then also too, I'm thinking I might want to take the core course and just kind of, because some people like to read, or they want to just listen to an audiobook. So incorporating the different ways people learn. So watching on video, listening to it, or reading it. And then the live mentorship is kind of how I want to format that. So that's the direction that I'm going. And I think that's probably, I'm actually really looking forward to the interactive part, because I like doing these lives. And some of the questions I get on these are really awesome. So thanks everybody for participating. Let's see. And some content announcements. We'll do that. And then I think I'll talk a little bit about breaking into the AI industry, and then we'll call it a day. Let's see here. Actually, I'll save the content announcements, because I actually already talked about the chat robot, or the two bots debating topics. But what I will add to that, I'm also experimenting with another format. I'm actually I'm trying to train a bot to be a cognitive behavioral therapist. So I'm experimenting with feeding it Reddit posts, and I'm trying to find the sweet spot where I can find like Reddit threads, and then feed in like a particular person's rants or whatever, and then feed that in and see if the CBT bot can like give the person advice. I don't know, that could be dangerous, but we'll see how that goes. But it's an interesting experiment so far, and I'm actually using an AI to help me formulate prompts to train another AI to how to be a CPT therapist. So we start to get into some inception levels. So that's it's getting a little surreal in that way. But I think that's going to be fun. I think it'll be fun because I'm gonna try and put an avatar for that one. Let's see here. Okay, so I just want to talk really quick because I've been getting emails, and so I just wanted to record this for the people that have been asking, breaking into the AI industry. And there's actually a lot of traditional jobs in IT that are still holding strong. So I'll get into those, but there's basically 3 areas that you're going to get into. So far, what I've been talking about is just using AI as a regular tool, right? So just using the Chat GPT. I'm pointing at my screen as if you could see what I'm pointing at. But here we go. This right here. Use learning prompt engineering. That's actually a job, right? Or it's going to be more like typing. So I've talked about that, like using a mouse, right? So I've talked ad nauseum about that. So we're going to move past that. The 3 other areas that you can get into is obviously, the first one is building the AIs. And there are different ways you can be involved in building the AI. So there's architecture, right? Actually using flow charts and tools and all that to actually design and architect the infrastructure that the AI sits on, right? Because AI is just a program, right? And what do programs run on? They run on computers, and they can run on my local computer, and they can run on big beefy, multi-computer systems that have computers, spread out all over the world, and it spreads the brain all over the world. So learning how to architect and design these AIs using the computers, that's one aspect. That's pretty senior level. But actually learning how to train the AIs. So you want to look for things. They're these titles, data scientist. So you're basically learning how to gather data and clean the data, engineer the data, take the biases out of it. So when you train the AIs, the biases aren't really bad. So that's one area you could go in. Just talked about building the program or the software that the AIs run on. Oh, good old Nessie in the background there. So on top of that, now we get into what the AI lives on, what it sits on. So looking at AI as a program, programs solve problems, right? So what problem is AI basically trying to solve? It's essentially a data problem. It uses a lot of data. So going into the traditional roles of learning how to build databases, learning how to hook up those databases to programs and make them efficient so that they can feed the data to the programs at massive scale. Because we're talking about like petabytes of data, right? So, I can't even think of a physical representation of what that number would look like, but it's a lot of data, and you got to be able to feed all that data into an AI, to either to train it, to store everything that it's generating on the side when it's talking to people. Databases are crucial, and now we get into the third area. You store this data, right? But you got to move the data around. It has to be able to shuttle around. So how do you move data around? It moves around on networks, right? So all the traditional jobs around information technology and networking are really hot in AI right now. So, learning cybersecurity is really huge in AI. And AI has very specific needs around cybersecurity. So just learning the base, just learning basic cybersecurity and then kind of layering on top of the additional concerns, you'll be positioning yourself really well. Learning how to build networks and secure those networks so the data can move around securely. Basically, I would say about 67%, maybe even more. Let's say 75% of the jobs that are out there around AI already exist. And it's all in the infrastructure that the brain sits on, looks at the data and moves the data around. And then all the newer jobs are around making the AI, designing the AIs, because there's different flavors of artificial intelligence, which I won't get into. But the big thing about that is the other jobs that kind of come out of the building the AI that actually aren't as technical, and I've talked about these are two brand new jobs that never existed. I could even say maybe 5 years ago, certainly 10 years ago, they did not exist. And they came about exactly because of a lot of the things I talk about today, a lot of the concerns that I've had around AI deceiving people, getting it to do the hoax, putting the rails in place. And one of those jobs is the AI ethicist. And I've talked about this before. And essentially it boils down to is that just because you can do something with artificial intelligence, should you? Right? That's a big question. And a lot of these companies don't have an ethicist on their staff. And I made a video, and actually Phil, he this is like when I first met Phil, and he gave me the idea for this video that I'm going to talk about that I made. Older and struggling on my own Phil, not the other Phil that comes to my channel regularly. But he gave me the idea for talking about conspiracy theories. And that's when Mangione snuck up on the United Health CEO and did you know what? And I did a little research, and it turns out that the AIs that they were using had a 97% decline rate. And that's unheard of in the industry. And if I recall, the actual decline rate, I think it's something like around 20%. I don't remember what it is. I could be totally wrong, but it ain't 97. All right. I mean, it's whatever the number really is, it's not on the other end of the spectrum. And so I speculated that the AI kind of led to him, because he was already mentally not good, and him getting declined and getting run through the ringer and having to go through all the AI crap, kind of twisted his brain more, and he lost it and went off and did what he did. And if United Healthcare had, and you'll hear this term a lot, a human in the loop, someone that sat on the team, the architect that was designing the AI, in the same room that's going to be where the database person is and the network person is, that ethicist sits alongside those people and says, we really should test this because, we're finding, the decline rate's really high. There's a bias in the system, and we need to find out where this bias is. So either A, we get the decline rate to match that, supposed 17% or whatever that figure is, or maybe we can make the decline rate better, but it still could be 17, 20%, but it's declining in better, more sensible ways than the humans were doing it, right? So that's what the ethicist does. And that's going to be a very, very important role, because the ethicist is going to be using human judgment. It's going to be putting the human intelligence into the loop. And so again, my theory is a lot of United Healthcare did not have an ethicist, And look what happened, right? And it's coming out. I'll do more videos on it. A lot of companies do not have ethicists on their team, and they're getting sued for lots of other different reasons, and they're causing harm in different ways because their systems are biased or the data they fed into it. And you've heard me use this phrase a lot: bad data, bad outcomes. And that's a play on an old computer science saying that I learned when I was a young buck back in the late 80s, early 90s, was we called it GIGO, which is an acronym, GIGO: garbage in, garbage out. If your data is garbage, your output's going to be garbage. And it's the same idea, but the idea is that the data that you feed in, if you don't sanitize your data into the AI, it's going to have inherent biases because humans created the data. And so the AI is going to mimic the biases that arise in the data. And a lot of times these biases are not readily obvious. So on top of the ethicist asking this question, thanks, Phil. I appreciate you dropping by. Thanks again, brother. Your support has meant a lot to me. So thank you, and best of luck to your channel. And if you're doing a live tomorrow, I'm stopping by. Anyway, so the ethicist also has a lot of software tools now, so it's not as technical. So don't think you have to learn all this stuff about how AI literally works. It's actually a fairly low tech job in comparison to all the other ones. And the second job, and then I'll be done because I know I'm rambling, is AI governance. And governance is around the data. And there are a lot of laws around data that a lot of these companies actually don't necessarily ignore, but the AI doesn't know these laws. So it could end up violating a lot of these things. So for example, in healthcare, we have what is called personal identifiable information. And well, actually it's more of an IT term, and usually around cybersecurity and data. But there's a law in healthcare in America called HIPAA, which basically protects the identity of patients. So you can't because they want to share the data around a lot of findings, because there's a lot of important, meaningful data in X-rays and studies and all kinds of things, but they don't want to reveal the identity of the persons with or the people with these health problems. So a lot of times AI can inadvertently violate the privacy of people. So that's one of the things that a governance agent does in this team. Out of the two new jobs that I'm talking about, they make sure that while they're building the AI, they're following data laws, because there's laws that govern how data moves outside of countries, between countries, even municipalities, how you can use the data, even how you store it, how you encrypt it. It's just it's so complex that you really need this person on the staff to do all that. And again, there's tools for that, and it's not a super technical job, but just already, because of new technology, new problems, we have two new jobs. So that's my long-winded answer to the questions I've been getting, how you can break into AI. So even if you're not technical, you still have the ethicist and the governance person. But if you're a nerd and you want to get more into the technology, learning how to build the AIs, that's the obvious one. But all the stuff that houses the AI, it's all the same traditional IT, data management, database, security, cybersecurity, it's all the same jobs. So that's my rant on breaking into AI. And I've been going for 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for coming by. And if you have any other questions, feel free to email me at this address here. I've been getting a lot of questions at this email address. And also, if you want to get onto my waiting list for my upcoming course, join my email list here. And I'll because I won't talk a lot about it in detail on my daily videos, but a little more in my lives. But things, when they start happening faster, you'll want to be on this email list. And I'll be asking some questions about marketing, positioning, and all that. And any input I can get from my viewers, I greatly appreciate. So with all of that, thanks for coming out on a beautiful Saturday. I'm going to go out while it's still beautiful and sunny. But for the rest of you, have a good evening and a good night. And until the next one, peace.